title of our research is Computational Simulations of Tissue Scaffolds, creating a degradation model. My name is Nick Evans, and I was advised by Professor Luke. The purpose of our research this summer is to create a model for degrading fibers that make up a scaffold. Tissue scaffolds are synthetic replacements for torn tissues, where the resident tissue cells will eventually destroy the scaffold material and replace it with healthy tissue. This will result in a replacement tissue that has very similar properties to the undamaged original tissue. However, most research involving scaffolds are conducted through trial and error. Therefore, the main objective of our research is to create the optimal model for tissue scaffolds. Looking at the picture containing different images of scaffolds, in section C, we can see that a scaffold is made up of a cross-section of rods. These rods are fibers. Ligaments and tissues are made up of collagen fibers, so when modeling a scaffold, we need to try and mimic the collagen structure. We're not going into the detail of collagen molecules and microfibrils shown on the image on the left. However, we do need to create long, thin fibers that are bundled together in alignment. The bundled fibers will give mechanical strength for the scaffold to succeed. The image below is the type of modeling technique that we are following. We will have cells cultivated and seeded into a scaffold we designed. The cells will be able to differentiate throughout the scaffold. While the cells are producing the new healthy tissue, the scaffold will also be degrading. Specifically, the fibers are degrading, and that is what we are working on this summer. We then have hopefully produced some engineered tissue. This is the end goal of the modeling. The model will help us create different designs of the scaffold in order to produce a better final tissue. So to create our scaffold, we had to decide what the fibers should be made out of. For our model, we decided to use polymers. The polymeric fibers will still complete the same goal as the collagen fibers, where the fibers in the scaffold will mimic the aligned structure of the tissue, which in turn acts as a guide for the cells to produce the new healthy tissue. So why choose polymers? The advantage of using polymers for our fibers is that we are able to control the degradation rate. This is important because the ideal rate of degradation should not exceed the rate of tissue formation. We want the cells to be producing tissue inside a safe home where they can be protected, so we cannot have the scaffold degrade completely before the tissue is fully formed. Another advantage is the biocompatibility of using polymeric fibers. The polymeric fibers are compatible with the human body, which is great since the scaffold will be surgically placed inside the body, and the body will not try and fight it. The last big advantage of using polymeric fibers is the ease of manufacturing. We can either use an electrospinning technique to make the fibers, or we can actually just print them using a 3D printer. This will be very useful in the future when we run experiments instead of simulations. The disadvantages with using the fibers is that there has not been much research on how the fibers will influence cell behavior, and they do have a lower strength compared to natural tissue, which we'll have to consider while modeling. As a broad overview of the methodology section, we first do a bunch of literature reviews to try and find different parameters and equations that we can use for our model. Once we have the parameters, we create a model for degradation using MATLAB, which is a coding program. Once the model is finished, we will compare our results to experimental results to see if our degradation model works. So, while reading through other people's research, we found two papers that were helpful in creating our model. A mathematical paper by Chen that used a bunch of equations to describe how polymers degrade. This gave useful parameters such as types of scission, the equations we can use to allow our simulated fibers to degrade, and they gave different simulation values for the variables that they used. The other paper was by Sensini, which helped us design the structure of the polymer, giving us dimensions such as the typical length and diameter of the polymer. When fibers degrade, they can degrade in two different ways. One way is through end scission, where the fiber will degrade at either end of the fiber. The other way is through random scission, so a random segment is chosen in the fiber and is degraded. So how do we go about developing code for all of this? Here is a general flow chart of the degradation model that we designed. We first state all the parameters we found in the two papers. We then have the code generate a scaffold containing 500 fibers, along with their corresponding position coordinates. The general idea for this model is then to have the simulation loop through all the time steps we had set. If not all time steps have been incremented, we proceed to the question of, have all fibers been checked? This is how we check each fiber at each time step to see if it will degrade. This is where it gets a little bit more complicated than what is shown on the screen here at this box. When we are looping through the fibers, we are also looping through a set number of segments within each fiber. We use a random number generator to output some number, and we check to see if that specific number is less than the probability based on the equation shown below. This is an autocatalytic probability equation. Quickly explaining the different variables, we have lambda as our degradation rate constant, same as the concentration of released monomers. V naught V of t is the initial volume fraction and the volume fraction at a specific time step, and t is our time step. The one variable we do not like in this equation is beta. Beta is used to help match the data to the experimental results. We do not like this approach, however it is the best method the research community has come up with at this time. This equation will output some p-value. If the random number that is generated is less than the calculated p-value, a fiber segment will be hydrolyzed and degraded. This is where we get into the types of different decision. How we decide which type of decision takes place is through another random number generator. Half the segments that are to degrade will be through end decision, and the other half are random decision. We delete the fiber segment by deleting the position coordinate that corresponds with the chosen segment. We then calculate the mass loss of the fiber so we can later plot the mass loss percentage versus the time steps. In figure 1, this shows the results our degradation model reproduced. The blue line is our results, and the other lines are in vitro experimental data. We were very happy with the results that the comparison graph showed. Overall, our data generally follows the degradation at pure PLLA and PLLA 25 to 75. This PLLA 25 to 75 and PLLA 50 to 50 was based on an experiment completed by researchers that wanted to see the effects of changing molecular weight. The 25 number is for high molecular weight, and the 75 number is for low molecular weight. Therefore, a model is capturing data for a lower molecular weight polymer. If we have a higher molecular weight, it will slow down our degradation rate. Overall, Professor Luke and I agree that our model is a good representation for polymeric fiber degradation. We then implemented this degradation model into research I completed last semester, where we created a model on cell differentiation within the scaffold. We looked at the mean square displacement, MSD, of the cell. MSD in our research is defined as the average measurement of the distance a cell travels throughout the scaffold. When you plot MSD versus time tau, 3 types of diffusion can be seen on the figure: superdiffusion, normal diffusion, and subdiffusion. Superdiffusion is where the MSD increases more rapidly with time than in normal diffusion. Normal diffusion is a linear function of time, which is also called pure diffusion. Subdiffusion is when the cell can no longer diffuse throughout the scaffold due to random trapping. In other words, the cell has been confined. Figure 2 is one of the final figures we produced from last semester, where we compared MSD versus tau for a single cell. We can see that the cell was experiencing confinement. This is not what we hoped for, because the best way for a cell to produce new tissue is to be able to diffuse throughout the scaffold efficiently. Instead, the results are showing that the cell was becoming trapped. We concluded last semester that the original environment of the scaffold was actually too small for a cell to properly diffuse. Adjusting the size parameter and adding our degradation model produced more promising results, as shown in figure 3. In figure 3, we can see a very nice linear relationship indicating pure diffusion. This means that our cell did not have any issues moving throughout our scaffold. As of right now, we can conclude that our degradation model can accurately depict polymeric fiber degradation. When the degradation model was used with cell differentiation model, the MSD figure displays normal diffusion. Therefore, we can move on to the next step in creating the optimal model for a scaffold. Future simulations will be more focused on amorphous polymers, specifically poly-D-lactide. Amorphous polymers will be easier to model right now than choosing a crystalline polymer. With amorphous polymers, we will not have as many parameters to consider and implement as compared to crystalline polymers. We will also have to start to add the effect of cell depositing its own fibers into the scaffold, the different attachment points between the cell and the fiber, and the different mechanical properties such as the overall strength of the scaffold. And with that, I'd like to acknowledge Professor Luke for being an awesome research advisor, and I'd also like to thank the researchers from the 2 papers whose work we used to help create our model. Thank you.